Welcome back to Focus 54, your guide to African and global issues analyzed by African voices in dialogue. Today we turn to World Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan, where Zimbabwe has taken center stage, led by His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The president is attending the expo to mark Zimbabwe's National Day and lead a major business forum aimed at boosting investment in key sectors like tourism, agriculture, and mining. But beyond Zimbabwe, this moment raises bigger questions for Africa about trade, innovation, and how we position ourselves on the world stage. What does this mean for the continent's future? We will unbundle this issue and the second segment with economic analyst Tino Kambasha. But for now, let's take a look at the stories making the headlines across the continent. We kickstart with Burkina Faso, where Seydou Traoré, a young farmer from Burkina Faso city of Bobo, is leading a quiet revolution in sustainable agriculture by producing 100% organic fertilizer from a natural waste product made from a blend of animal waste, ash, poultry feathers, and plant debris. The fertilizer is completely chemical-free. The process involves drying the raw materials, removing non-biodegradable residues, and packaging the final product in 50 kg bags. Traoré's production has grown significantly from just 150 bags to 600 bags, a fourfold increase as the demand for organic farming inputs rises. Among the materials used are chicken droppings, cow dung, pork rinds, and poultry feathers, which are high in nitrogen. Traoré says that using feathers also helps reduce hygiene and environmental issues at local slaughterhouses. Local farmers and gardeners who use this fertilizer are seeing tangible results as Burkina Faso and much of West Africa face the dual challenges of soil degradation and climate change. These fertilizers are being promoted to improve soil fertility and enhance crop yields. And in Sierra Leone's Daniela Bohima-Garrick made history as she was crowned for the first ever Miss Albinism Africa during a pageant held on the 28th of June 2025. In Zimbabwe's Harare, Garrick, at age 21, was much lauded for her message of empowerment following her triumph. Sierra Leone's Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Nabila Tunis, commended her in a social media post, describing the pageant queen as a beacon of beauty, bravery, and inclusion. The crowning event was a part of the first Mr. and Miss Albinism Africa contest, launched during the larger African Diversity Festival, which aims to raise awareness of neglected communities. 10 candidates from various countries participated in the event run by the Albinism Dare to Dream pageant director Beata Nyamayaro. This was a step toward constructive diversity. Captain Gutadinka, a former Ethiopian commando and one of the 2 men assigned to protect Nelson Mandela during his 1962 military training in Addis Ababa, revealed how he foiled an assassination plot against the future South African president, explaining how he rejected a bribe and alerted his superiors to the plan. Speaking from Addis Ababa on Monday, ahead of Mandela Day on the 18th of July, this Friday, Dinga recounted how General Tedesse tasked him with Mandela's protection during the latter's clandestine military training and showed a copy of Mandela's own passport used to enter the country. Events took a disturbing turn when Dinga described how he had been approached by a friend, Abraham, who invited him to lunch at the Taitu Hotel there. 2 men, 1 African and 1 white, allegedly offered him £2,000 and a camera, instructing him to assassinate Mandela and make it look like an accident. However, Dinka said he then alerted his superiors and the Ethiopian authorities devised a plan to capture the plotters. The police arrested the plotter, and within 24 hours, both men were deported from the country since they were foreign nationals. Mandela completed his training, apparently unaware of the danger he had been in, and Dinga himself received nothing but the satisfaction of a job well done. Nelson Mandela, South Africa's first black president from 1994 to 1999, passed away in December 2013. In 2009, the UN declared July the 18th Mandela Birthday to honor his struggle against apartheid. In Zimbabwe, on the story which we are looking to discuss today, President Emmerson Mnangagwa says current infrastructure rehabilitation and modernization projects provide immense opportunities for investments from Japanese and other prospective global partners. He was speaking at the Zimbabwe National Day at the Osaka 2025 Expo in Japan this Wednesday, with Zimbabwe carrying out several infrastructure development projects spanning across sectors which include road construction, irrigation, rehabilitation and construction of dams. President Mnangagwa says this avails investment opportunities prospective investors. The president also visited the pavilion of the host country, Japan, as well as those of fellow SADC countries, which include Zambia and Lesotho.
I'm extremely impressed by both the content and the variety of exhibitions that have been exhibited by various countries. I'm very, very impressed. It shows that Africa, year by year, continues to blossom. You learn many things from other people. You learn, these are various cultures coming together. So each culture, each country benefits from what happens elsewhere. So it's very good that we have this event yearly. And I think our people benefit from what other countries are exhibiting. It is critically important that besides exhibition and talking, you need to sit down and say precisely what do I take home? What do I take home? What is it that will benefit from these exhibitions so that we continue to improve whatever we have? So it's very important that our people come to the international exhibitions. We will benefit.
That's all we have for you in this segment. Do join us in our second segment as we continue to unpack on the World Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan. Hello and welcome back to the second segment. I'm still your host, Prudence On Osaka. And in this segment, we focus on the symbolism, diplomatic relevance, and continent-wide implications of Zimbabwe's participation in the Expo. I'm now joined by the economic analyst, Tino Kambasha. Welcome to the studio, Say.
Thank you, Prudence. Thank you for having me. Welcome.
All right. So tell us briefly what the World Expo 2025 means to Zimbabwe, and tell us maybe all about it.
So the Expo is basically where the world comes to showcase itself. Mm-hmm. So each country gets a day and that it gets to showcase what they're about. Mm-hmm. So it's mainly bringing your best foot forward. Mm-hmm. So for us as Zimbabwe, obviously our main sectors, tourism, agriculture and mining would obviously be top of the list. But there are various other areas that we as a country are trying to showcase as well, our innovation, mm-hmm. and also just basically how we operate, how our governments operate, uh-huh. and the link between government and private sector.
And why is it all the countries are participating there? Why do you think so?
It's an opportunity for each country to tell their own story. Okay. So the main problem that you have is, especially now when you've got mainstream media, mm-hmm. that's only, if you're looking at whether it's CNN or Sky News and Al Jazeera, basically that's what people look at. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily understand what we're about. They don't understand our culture. They don't understand our heritage. So we are getting a chance to tell our own story in our own way about our own people, and showcasing that to the world and our achievements and our aspirations as well, and to see how we can move forward with that.
Okay, talking about those aspirations and achievements on Zimbabwe, what does this signify rather for Zimbabwe's narrative and goals?
It's a great opportunity because we've done so much as a country so far, and it's quite unfortunate that it's not really praised out there. I mean, you can't argue about our road networks. You can't argue about about 10 dams that we've put up. You can't argue about the airports that we've upgraded, and all the other infrastructure work that's happening. So it gives us a chance to say to the world, look at what we've done, look at what we're doing, and we want to do more. So we want to partner up with you more. Come, let's do business together. And I think that's the greatest opportunity that the country has at the Expo.
Okay, on that, let's take a look at our mantras. We have Zimbabwe is open for business. We have enemies to none and friends to all, and the re-engagement and engagement. Do you think it's bearing fruit?
I don't think I know. Look, if you look at our engagement with the international community, whether it's on exports, I mean, for you to increase your exports, it means that you have a relationship to someone who's importing. So if our exports are increasing, whether it's in mining, agriculture, or if it's tobacco, or even human resources, we actually, we also export humans. Diaspora is also an export if you look at it. So if you look at that, it really shows that our re-engagement is really working. Obviously, we would want it to be more. Hence why opportunities like this Osaka Expo then give us that ability to also showcase what we have and how we can put it across to the world.
Okay, so in what ways can this Expo and Zimbabwe's National Day serve as a model for other African countries aiming to attract foreign direct investments, just like we are doing, and through soft power and strategic global positioning? Yeah,
I like the fact that you brought up soft power. It's something that a lot of people don't actually value. But Zimbabwe, some of our soft power is being chairman of SADC. Okay. That also helps. It also gives us a voice. But I feel that maybe the rest of Africa can learn from us, because we really pride ourselves in what we did with the agricultural space, where our land reform process is actually proving now to become a success. We built infrastructure by ourselves. So it's not always this issue of getting international partners to come and do things for you. What you can do is get technology, innovation, and ideas from international partners, but get your locals to actually do the work. I think that's the one key thing that the rest of Africa can learn from Zimbabwe, is to come and see what we've done by ourselves with our own contractors, and the amazing work we are still to do, and that's coming going forward.
And we're saying this Expo is helping us to showcase all that.
100%, because it allows you to tell your whole story. So the good thing is that the Expo is not just a one-sided foreign affairs issue. All different segments of government attend that Expo. So it's not just one story. So you'll get Ministry of Transport telling their story. You'll get Ministry of Tourism telling their story.
Okay.
You'll get Zimtrade telling their story. You'll get ZIDA telling their story.
All right.
So it's basically Team Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
That has gone forward and put our best foot forward. Yeah.
So how effective are these platforms like the Expo in reshaping global perceptions, like you were saying, as a viable investment destination, particularly in sectors like tourism, agriculture, and technology?
I think tourism is the the easy win. The majestic Victoria Falls is a world wonder. So that one sells itself. But then what we also need to look at is the knock-on effect and the other industries that come with that, whether it's gastronomy or whether it's other investment in tourism. I mean, if you go to Victoria Falls right now, people are building quite a lot. But there are also other knock-on areas, such as medical tourism. So those are other areas that we as a country are looking at, having Victoria Falls being a medical hub of some sort, so that people come see the Victoria Falls but then rehabilitate in a natural environment. So there are other areas which we then showcase and put, that this is what we can do and this is what we are doing.
Okay. Yeah. So to what extent can bilateral partnerships like the Zimbabwe and Japan be scaled up to foster broader regional integration and maybe infrastructure development across the Southern Africa and the continent as a whole?
Well, Zimbabwe, for a fact, is land linked. I don't like to use the word landlocked, it's land linked. So we're a central hub for regional integration. So if we foster the Japan-Zimbabwe relationship, we can be a springboard for any Japanese companies or any Japanese individuals who want to invest in the region. Zimbabwe is a strategic place because of where we are. So we can link north-south. So we're easy to go to DRC, if you want to go to Zambia, Namibia, they're all our neighbors, basically. So it helps anyone looking to invest in the country, and I think it makes sense for them to start with Zimbabwe as a springboard into Africa.
Okay. So we are saying Zimbabwe and the continent as a whole, we have something. We have so many things to showcase. We have so many stories to tell. And the Osaka Expo is one of the best platforms to do that. Join us in our second segment for more on this. Welcome back to the third segment. I'm still your host, Prudence Nyoka, and we continue to talk about the Expo 2025 for Osaka as we unbundle Africa's growth through trade, innovation, and investment through this participation. Mr. Kampasha, given that the 80% of inquiries at Zimbabwe's pavilion relate to tourism, how can African nations better leverage their cultural and natural heritage in these international platforms?
It's quite interesting because 80%, and obviously tourism would be a major thing, but it also then allows us to leverage off other industries. You've got your gastronomy, which we're doing very well, especially in Africa. I think Zimbabwe is one of the leading countries to be pushing gastronomy. But then also it allows a holistic experience when someone does visit the country. So yes, we can say it's tourism, but it can spill onto other food and manufacturing areas. And I guess then that leads to other areas as well, so food processing plants and so forth. So it can have a knock-on effect. But obviously having inquiries being 80% is a good thing, but you would also want to have it a bit more balanced. So I'm hoping post this expo that we'll get to showcase more of our mining and more of our agriculture side as well. And also innovation. In Zimbabwe, we've got quite some interesting innovation areas and innovators. So hopefully we'll see a more balanced inquiry going forward. But having tourism as 80% is great. I mean, we can't complain about that. And it is a good earner for foreign currency in the country.
Just out of interest sake, I've seen the African cuisines, like the Madura pie, like the carpenter pies. And it's interesting. So how do you think we can sell them out there?
So I think the one thing that we need to push more is our organicness of things. And also the first world has a lot of issues to do with gluten. So we've got natural foods that can assist either people who have to eat gluten-free things or just want to eat healthier. Unprocessed food and grains. I think that's our biggest sell. And we need to make more noise about that and market ourselves more. I mean, this expo gives us that opportunity so people can get to know about that. So you can't expect some person in a village somewhere in Japan to know about Madura, or Madura pies. But having visited the expo, they will now. So it's an issue now that we push institutions like Zimtrade to now start selling those products to those markets and started having bilateral relationships, which I'm very sure they are doing and are very capable of doing.
So how does Zimbabwe's emphasis on technological exchange and agri-based trade with Japan highlight the importance of innovation-led development in Africa's future economic strategy?
I mean, if you look at Japan as a whole, look at their history as a country. I'm talking now on the innovation side. Japan had a bad war. They had Hiroshima, and the atomic bombs dropped on 2 cities, and basically started from scratch. But if you look at their progression to where they are now, and some of those products that they do make now, you'd be quite shocked. Even the cars that they have, a lot of cars here, Jap or ex-Jap, right? But they did that by reverse engineering. So their innovation side actually drove their growth.
Okay.
So for us as a country, we are hoping to learn and partner up with countries like Japan so we can push our own innovation. So we do have a lot of innovators in this country, believe it or not, in the tertiary institutions.
Yes.
And they are doing great things. But we now need to understand how we can commercialize that, how we can industrialize that. And that will help us also, if we want to reach our 2030 goals of becoming an upper to middle income economy, right? We need to leapfrog. We need to grow quickly in a short space of time.
Yeah.
And innovation plays a huge role in accelerating that.
Okay. So as Africa continues to seek a stronger voice in the global trade systems, how do these events like the Expo reflect the continent's readiness to negotiate from a position of strength rather than dependency?
I think we're seeing a new world order when it comes to negotiations. We won't mention which country is leading in these renegotiations, but I think it's woken us up that we've been being taken for a ride for a very long time. So for Africa, our new role that I believe that we are going to be playing is to say no mineral, no products should leave the continent without them being added value to. And I think that's the only way we can then reposition ourselves in terms of global power and global strength economically. So the more we push for beneficiation of our minerals and our products and our produce, the more global power we will have, because it creates employment. It stops other things being exported. So when people export, they say they're exporting chrome, but you will find that there are other minerals in there that we are not aware of. So that also just retains our wealth in this country. It increases our employment and also increases our export earnings. So our balance of payment increases, so we have more foreign currency. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are saying the Expo gives Zimbabwe the bigger platform to showcase what it produces and to tell its own story. That's what you're saying, sir?
100%. And that's the whole essence of the Expo. Each country must come along and tell its story. And then that's how people get to know, because nobody can tell your story better than you, even if it's on a personal level. People can have an opinion of you, but you yourself can explain what is happening and what you know and what you're going through. So it's the same thing. We're explaining what we know, what we are going through as a country, and how we are going to grow and what our plans and our future is like.
So we are saying Africa as a continent, and even Zimbabwe, has now the chance to change the narrative that has been known, the negative narratives and the negative picture that has been painted by other media houses. Now it's our chance as Zimbabwe, it's our chance as Africa to change that narrative. It has been a pleasure to be with you, sir, in the studio.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Zimbabwe. And look forward to seeing you guys again.
Do join us next week, same time, same place. I'm Prudence Mutimbanyoka. Stay blessed.